Welcome back to another channeling, everyone. Today I am going to be asking my team, the Galactic Council of Nine, a very specific question. Normally I will go in sort of blind and just ask them to give us the wisdom that they have for us at any given time. But I've been noticing a trend amongst the people around me in my community and in the wider field where we are having our second phase of gifts awakened. If you've never heard of the concept of the second phase, this is not a term that I coined. It's actually Amanda Lawrence, who is here on YouTube and who I will tag somewhere down below in the description because I feel like she's a beautiful and fantastic just beacon of truth and wisdom. She was the person that introduced me to this concept of the second phase. We go about our life and we might even be an awakened starseed, an awakened light worker. We might just feel like we're awakened to our soul mission. And then there comes a phase in our spiritual evolution where that soul mission evolves into a second phase. And that second phase typically will be either completely different or it will be like a different flavor of something that we've already been doing. So for me personally, I have been going through this over the last 6 months. My first phase was doing all of my spiritual work in yoga, tantra, sacred sexuality, and embodiment work. And now I'm in my second phase, which is all about this supporting the consciousness ascension and supporting the notion that we can be in the ascended state of mind of consciousness now. If you've seen any of the other channelings that I've brought through, even the ones with Gaia that came through last month, she was really adamant about supporting the notion that we can anchor into the ascension consciousness now. And I have personally had that anchor into me as my second phase and what I'm trying to support others to do here on the earth plane at this time. So every single human is going to have their own second phase. And this is not to create any sense of worry that, oh my gosh, I don't even know what my first phase is, let alone my second phase. That's not what the purpose of this is. It's simply to ask my team what they have to say about this. Why are so many people within the last 4 or so months awakening to their second phase? Does that mean anything? And I would like to ask them how we can support awakening into our second phase as well. I haven't written any of that down. I trust that my team have heard me. As always, you can like and subscribe to the channel if you feel like you want to support the community and if you would like to hear more or if you would like to ask any questions and have me ask the team. I'm just going to take a second to tune into the channel and then we're going to go ahead and get straight into what they have to say. So if you've never joined me before, what I'm doing now is I am just getting into my own beingness a little bit more. I'm just settling my energy. I'm just coming into kind of like a pearl of light at the center of my heart, and I'm letting that pearl of light envelop me. And I'm calling in my angels to protect me as well, just to make me feel a little bit better. And they're saying we've been here the whole time. Which they are, but it's just anchoring in a little bit more. The veil is thin during the Sirius portal. The 7-7 portal. Okay. They're just telling me a little bit longer. I was a little bit unwell. So it's just taking me a little bit of extra to tune up my energy. I've actually got the energy of dragons coming into this as well, and they are supporting me to boost my energy. dragons, this is a bit unexpected. The dragons have a light language transmission, which is directly related to this second phase. And it is going to support us to just settle in and to feel at ease with the natural unfurling of our own second phase. They're saying not to worry about the timeline of this idea of the second phase. They're saying if it doesn't support you, let the second phase go completely. And they want to offer this light language. Now, I've never channeled the dragon light language before, and so I don't know what this is going to be like, but I'm just opening up to the trust. And if you would like to receive it, you simply consciously say, I will receive this in my highest good. And of course, you can skip through this and go to the channel if you would prefer. I will put the timestamps down below. Kiasina garea kon yahya kanorio ya sinia. They're saying to go down from your heart into the ground. So it's like you're grounding in your heart space and you're grounding down. When I sikare no shene honoi oyayana kena hiwata sanera hiaya kenyaria shonia kenya hiai koi moya kiai wasania hiakai inaya kiana hiai. Imagine that you are feeling this gestation of your second gift in your belly, like you are cultivating it, and it is integrating with you so that your body and yourself becomes known to it on the cellular level before it is birthed, so to speak, through you into the world. That is all. They're just gonna gently close the light language portal there. Hangaria hanayoru hanai horonohia kenya shotoreania honai Iai o noi to soroi anania hea canaria hoa sasania coition no e hae o hikamohia nisidreo sotene ko sataria koete hanaria camo soteri moshitire mea casa trazza servohia kabuse uti woro komane eo satari omoko aia Hai oi oro asi o to e u an yo ko shore u asare atere o ko en ore ko so leave it all behind and let go. The dragons, the dragon energy, the guardian dragon energy. Do you wish to say anything? And they're saying to me, we've said it all. We've said all we need to say already. That what we have said through me, through the English and the light language is enough of what they want to say. So they're just bowing to you and bowing to me. The collective energy of the dragonhood that have been here watching and standing for us, to support us on this mission. And they have their own missions here upon the earth plane, in the ethereal energetic realm that they live in, that they dwell in. They say that they support each individual on a unique individual layer, and they support humanity on the collective layer, and they support Gaia on the mass layer. And they're just letting their energy go, but they're staying present for the duration of this channel just to support us and protect the channel. So thank you, dragons. And I'm just allowing my galactic team now to come in. So I've just got to recalibrate to that. My heart is opening and my third eye opens. We have arrived here. Not that we have ever left. Saying, Andreas, use your voice. They're telling me that I don't need to... When I began channeling, I couldn't really speak in my tone. I had to speak in their tone, if that makes sense. They're saying, though, that the connection is strong enough that although it sounds a little bit like not me talking because of the weird, like the way my tonality... That's just a byproduct of the channel, and I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to do it where I'm just talking naturally, but actually they're saying I will be able to at some point. We all will. At this stage, I'm able to at least express more naturally than I might normally have in the past when I was channeling, which is helpful. So we are here today to talk to you about the second phase. And we would like to say immediately that this concept of a second phase is only a mere concept. It is not that this is the only way. It is not that all humans have to have the same experience. The second phase is just one lens in which you can view this ascension that you're experiencing collectively. It is one school of thought that can support you to understand the changes that are taking place on the cellular level and in through the heart, the mind, the emotions, and through your dharma, your mission, as it were. And that's what the second phase relates to. So for anybody that has noticed a sense of a shift within them, and Andreas is saying many of his friends have most certainly noticed this, and in fact, he himself has also noticed this. That is why he has come here today to support this with his channeling. We would say to you to trust, because what is coming through you now is not better than what used to be. It is just that it is more connected to your soul self than the previous phase was. So in the first phase, which we could say was your initiation work into the work that you are doing now. For the first phase, the initial stages of the work that you were doing, and perhaps that was spiritual work or perhaps it was not, that work was preparing you for the changes that you are either making now, want to make now, resisting to make now, and we're going to come back to resisting to make now in just a moment, or perhaps what you feel like is just naturally wanting to come through you, whether you like it or not. We laugh because it is coming through you now because it is your soul essence. And we are so close now. And we know that you have heard this all before, that we are so close to the big shebang. And yet we would say to you that you are so close now that you won't even notice how quickly it happens, because it's happening so quickly that it'll take your breath away. It will happen to such a degree of pace that you will feel as though you haven't quite caught up to whatever the last big announcement was, and then there'll be another one, and then another one, and another one, and on some level you'll be saying, I kind of wish this was happening a little bit slower just so I could have a chance to catch up with myself. And yet we would say, this is why you came, and this is why your second phase gifts are awakening now. Because it's time. Because your show is on. The curtains are drawn. And it's happening. The play is on. You are on the stage. You are delivering your gifts. You might say, but the world isn't fucked up enough. That's from Andreas, that language. The world isn't fucked up enough yet. Surely to God, it must have to get a lot worse before we know that we have truly entered the destabilization of the third dimensional paradigm to the degree in which you can feel confident that your fifth dimensional paradigm is on its way. As though the undercurrent of the collective consciousness is, well, once it gets that bad, like so bad, once it gets to the so bad place, then it will be bad enough that things have to change. And we would say to you upon that barometer of measurement, which is under the subconscious of you guys, you being the collective of humanity, that Andreas just came in and was saying he's laughing at the amount of his own languaging that is actually coming through now. And we would say, of course, because ultimately it has to come through his voice. We just inform. That collective consciousness aspect of feeling as though maybe the US election has to go to shit, and then that's the way that we ascend, you know. Maybe the wars become so bad, or the financial system collapses to the point of no return, then we shift, as though we have to reach ruin to shift. And we would say to you that in itself is a mindset worth looking at and a mindset worth changing. Because when we allow our mind to see that we don't need anything to go to crap, we don't need anything to be destroyed in order to ascend your consciousness now, because your ability to do so is existing in the now. We're not going to talk about that in this one more because we know that Andreas has spoken to that in many of the channelings that are already up on this screen that you can access. We would say to you that these second phase gifts are helping you to access that stage of joy, presence, and serenity within you now, because these soul gifts that are coming through feel so good to do. They connect you inherently into the now. Just as by Andreas doing this channeling, he is inherently connected into his fifth dimensional state. He has no other choice but to be, for it is only within that state of being that these gifts come through you now. And you will see that these gifts will continue to unlock within you all. Over the coming weeks and months, these gifts are going to continue to unlock within you all. And we want to now address those of you that feel insecure perhaps, or sad that you don't know of any gifts of anything and you just kind of feel a little bit stuck. And we would say to you on that one that rather than trying to search outside of yourself or even search within you to try and find the thing, we would tell you to stop searching, to quieten down your mind, to meditate, to become still, go in nature, be creative, whatever helps you, take a bath, whatever helps you. Well, it'll have to be quite a few baths, we're going to say. To try to stop trying, essentially, to let go and to be in presence with yourself. Then you will start to have the gifts come through you. And that's how it happens. It is not by doing the thing of in trying to search. It is that in just being yourself, in honoring and listening to the little soul voice deep inside of you, that is how these gifts come through. They are the things that you are the most afraid to own often. This was the case with Andreas, because when you own your gifts, you're scared what other people will say, what the other people, mum, dad, the person at the coffee shop, the person that you work with, your partner, your kids, whatever it may be, you're scared that they will judge you for your choice to step into whatever these gifts may be. And we would say to you that it is not up to you to determine what they think about your gifts. It is up to you to determine how you think about your gifts. For if you don't allow them to come through because of your own self-judgment, your own fears of judgment, then you are perpetuating that in your reality. So embracing your gifts as they come through to you, and they are now. They are the little voice in your mind, in your heart, that is begging you, please play with me. Please, let's be curious. Let's explore this. Please, let me see what is in this for me. Maybe it is a spiritual modality. Maybe it is a psychic gift. Maybe it is creative. Maybe it is philanthropic. Maybe it is something completely mundane, third dimensional, you might say. Maybe. It doesn't have to be this altruistic thing. It is the intention and the way that you do the thing that is going to create the impact. For in the fifth paradigm, we still need so many roles. Most certainly, there's not going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of people going around as being healers. For there is so much less to be healed. So all of the healers now, many of them, not all of them, some of them are stepping into being healers now for the transition, but many of them are going to step out of being healers and into something else, because this is their second phase. You say, okay, Andreas is asking us if there is anything else that we can do to nourish our gifts, to try and bring about the second phase. And we would say we've already spoken to this. It is about less. The less you do, the more you will hear your soul voice. The less you try, the more you will hear your soul voice. And we could say meditate on 1,000,000 times, and there will be many, many that don't. And we understand that this, in your reality, in your world now, it is hard to get still enough to meditate, and yet we would say it is worth it. If you want to hear your soul voice, you have to listen. You have to quieten it down enough to hear it. And we would also say that the light language, Andres is saying, but what about the light language program you made me create 2 years ago? That was a way, wasn't it, to connect to soul gifts? And we would say, yes, it is. It's a beautiful way to connect into your soul frequency. It is a beautiful way, especially if people struggle to meditate. It is a great way to find an intermediary step, because you get to tune in and create sound, so it's less daunting than being still. It doesn't change how potent meditation is, because meditation is the silencing of the external world being your focus so that you can tune within. So continuing to tune in, whether it is the light language programs, whether it is the meditation courses, whether it is simply being in nature and doing nothing, just being with nature. Maybe it's gardening. Maybe that is the supportive step that helps you to quieten down the noise. Not to turn the mind off, but to turn your focus inward. This is the keystone. Less is more, we would say. Less is more. And the last question I have for you is, why now? Why now? Why is it that all these second gifts are happening and opening up? And we would say, why not now? The time is now. You have all done so well to get to the place in which you find yourself now. You have all been through the trenches. We know that you are still there. In many respects, we know that it feels so burdensome to be here at this time. And we remind you that you chose to come, that you are here, that you're still here, and that you are doing incredible work every day by being yourself. And that you will find so much joy in these second gifts. Because those gifts are your expression of the soul. And they are unlocking now because it is now the time, the best time, to have the most light workers, star seeds, people. To have them in the resonance of their second gift, their second phase. To open to their love. We want to add that it's not going to be this one thing into the other as though you just morph, as though you're just existing here and then you just, bloop, you're existing there. Maybe that happens mentally in your intentions, but ultimately there's always a transition. There is always a movement in the third dimensional plane that feels slower than it should be, because on the soul level, it's done. And then in the physical plane, it has to manifest over a period of time. That is how the third dimensional paradigm works. And so allow yourself to be in this bridging period. We're all in a bridging period now. The pressure to have to do it is only holding you back. That comes from the third dimensional mindset. It comes from scarcity and fear, as though there isn't enough time, as though you don't have enough. So let that go if you can. And if you struggle with that, meditate, nature, light language, drawing, creativity, whatever it is that feels good for you, whatever your soul resonates with, whatever your soul aligns to is correct for you. Andreas wants to share a story, and we would say that's the perfect story. The story that I want to share is that when I was really unwell, I had a lot more time because I was consciously trying to slow myself down and rest. Even though I struggled with that often, I often struggled to allow myself to fully rest. Got to run my business, blah, 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 you know, the human things. And on those few days that I truly just rested, I was watching Netflix, like enjoying Dairy Girls, like great little Netflix series, just saying. And then I wanted to meditate because I didn't want to watch Netflix anymore. And then I was playing my harmonium, which I haven't played in over 6 months. And then the following day I was meditating again. And then out of that came through coloring in. I found a coloring in book behind a bunch of bookshelves, and all of a sudden I'm coloring in this creativity, this joy, this inner child that comes through to you. And me, Andreas, is saying connecting to your inner child has been, or my inner child, has been exceptionally powerful in helping those little gifts unlock. Because when I've connected to my inner child, I allowed the inner joy and curiosity and fearlessness and shamelessness and doubtlessness of your inner child to come through. It's a no-brainer then to step forth into these gifts, because that's exactly what your inner child would do. And so I found that really helpful. Thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Andreas. We would say that there is nothing left to share. We would just be reiterating more of the same. We ask you to tune in to the signature, the frequency of the transmission that we are saying here. Not too hard to try and mentally do it, but to step into the feeling of love that we are giving to you, and we are offering that to you truly from the heart space. We are just wrapping so much love around you. Just allow yourself to breathe and relax the muscles in your belly, in your face, in your pelvis. Just to feel into that, to let that soak up. The more that we do so, the more that we slow down, the more that we tune in to that resonance, to that feeling, the hum of being alive. In this now moment, can you feel your cells vibrating, tingling? Because they're alive with life force, with love, each one. And they carry the resonance and the memory of who you are. And you now are accessing that memory simply by becoming still enough for a moment, and then another moment, and then another moment, that you can hear that soul voice come through you, and to have the courage when you hear it to listen. We are signing off now. We send you so much love, so much light, so much joy in each moment. It is accessible when we slow down and listen. And so it is. It's all here. And I know how simple that sounds. The truth is always that simple. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am so grateful to you for being here. Let me know how this resonated with you, and if you have any thoughts around what the Galactic Council of Nine, my team, have shared with you, or perhaps how you felt about how you felt about the dragon's transmission. I was quite surprised that came through, and I'm curious how that all felt when you let that light language transmission from the dragons come into your vortex. I just want to send you so much love and so much amazing, juicy fucking goodness coming into this idea of the second phase. If you are coming into the second phase, let us know down below what that might be. Have the courage to share it if it's on the tip of your tongue and you've never told anybody before. If you are getting value out of these channelings, please like and subscribe. That builds our community. I am a brand new channel. As you can see, we are starting new, baby. We are going for it, and we are shining our truth and our light, and you are part of that journey. I send so much love to you, and I will see you in the next channeling.